What is happening? Welcome to the Sunday Build Show. Chat's already blowing up, man. We got a bunch of people in there. Chat, Tiffany, Jerva.
What's going on, everybody?
Steven's in there. Woo! Y'all are on point today.
Somebody's got their volume turned up.
Somebody's got their volume turned up. It's not me because it's coming through that speaker.
Justin, you got your volume turned up on your phone?
Nope.
I got earbuds.
Weird. Why am I hearing? I'm not hearing it anymore, so I guess that's good.
That might have been me. I got nothing on, but
It was probably that freaking knucklehead.
Yeah,
no
probably.
doubt. I'm not even
It was me.
I'm not allowed to touch buttons for a reason. I screw stuff up every time I get involved with that.
Yeah, you're fine.
So what is happening? Everybody have a good week, productive week, positive week. Everybody hoorah, all is well. We're cheerleading over here.
Yeah, I think it was relatively good. Had a pretty good week. I got getting some decent stuff done on the Blazer, and I've gotten just about everything on that pulling tractor in primer. So that's always good.
I'm jealous about that. I want one. I'm saving up. I'm getting those daggone tractors, man. I want that Allison one and that Jet one. I'm going to get them.
Yeah.
Before we get too far into it, Tim is currently dealing with some personal stuff, and he may be able to dip in a little bit later. All is well. He's just had to take care of some stuff, and he's hoping to get back a little bit later this afternoon or get in here when he can. If he can make it, we'd love to have him, but if we understand that he's got some stuff he's got to take care of.
Yeah.
And we have a familiar face, but is now going to be an every Sunday face. Mr. Frank Model Works is joining us and is going to be sticking around every week as a co-host on our little show here.
You have my sincerest condolences.
All of them. Not just one of them.
Nobody feels worse for you.
Dude, I was going to say thanks for classing up the joint.
Right? I was going to say the same thing.
Nobody would know who you're talking about.
Goodness. Yeah, Chet, the voices in my head is just the echo because I'm filled with seasonal snot. So.
Nice.
Decongestants and shits.
So I know me and Justin were talking about it behind the scenes, but Frank, I know Jason, you're not going, but Frank, are you thinking about or going to AMPS here in a couple weeks?
I'm not going to make that. That's up in Connecticut?
Pennsylvania.
Then I'm definitely
down in Pennsylvania.
Down in
Pennsylvania.
That's
where in Pennsylvania?
Right outside of Harrisburg.
That's wow. That's a hike.
That's a hike. Yeah.
I don't want to hear it. Rob Rubiezo's going, and he's in freaking Long Island.
When is it?
It's Thursday, Friday, Saturday of next week.
So Mother's Day weekend.
No, next week.
Not yet.
Yeah, after that.
Mother's Day is after that.
Yeah, Mother's Day weekend is this weekend.
No, Mother's Day weekend is the 21st.
No,
Mother's Day weekend is next weekekend, I think.
Okay.
Today.
Were we just talking about that?
Yeah.
Whether or not we were going to do the episode?
Yes.
Yeah, we were.
Fargan nautical heads.
I know, right?
My goodness.
You got dates wrapped around my head. I'm thinking about catching a flight and going up there, getting there Friday, hanging out with everybody, and on Saturday, and then heading home Sunday. I'm giving it some thought. Obviously, that's an armor show, so I don't have anything to bring, so it makes it a little easier. So I can just go up, hang out, and have fun.
You had me doubting myself, Mike. You had to look at the calendar. Yes, it's next weekend. Jeez.
The Insanity Podcast will be doing a little bit of a hangout the Saturday night after the show.
Oh, nice.
So
apparently Frank's now our dancing chicken because Jervis says, "Tell us a joke, Frank."
Oh God.
I'm not allowed. They get really upset when I tell my jokes. Really upset.
Well, I don't.
getting demonetized is not an option for me, but it is for at least one of the guys on this show.
Well, you know, what can I say? Nice.
So
That I
I'm
can do.
trying to fix the damage that my wife did. She knocked the chassis off of for my USAC build. She knocked it off of where it was.
Oof.
Yeah.
You know, by mistake.
I can see it now. I'll fix him. Whack.
I didn't see that completely avoidable thing that I can't stand that you do.
You used up all the glue on purpose.
Didn't you?
Not a finger.
Not a finger.
Oh my.
Yeah. Oh my.
Oh my. Or wait, let me pull the New Hampshire. Oh gosh.
My that movie, Christmas Story. You know how they play it for 24 hours straight every year and have for like the past 35 years?
Yeah.
Yes.
You know that for a Christmas gift, I was once given a copy of the DVD.
Were you really?
Well, that's so you can watch it not in that 24-hour span.
Yeah, exactly. Like what am I gonna sit down in February and go, you know what I should watch right now? A Christmas Story.
Right?
Right. Because I didn't
That's
get enough.
hilarious.
You know what that is? That's a December 23rd. All right, I got all the presents. Did you get something for Frank? Oh crap.
Right. Stopped at the truck stop and found the DVD.
Yeah, exactly.
Listen, I can't say nothing. I can't tell you how many times when I was driving over the road, you get near the house on Valentine's Day, I was stopping at the convenience store picking up those roses that aren't really roses. They fold out to panties. I'm like, this is as good as it gets right here, buddy.
Wait a minute.
Never seen those?
No,
that's classic. It's classic.
Tell me what you're doing.
They look like a flower, but the red part of the flower, they got them folded up to where it looks like a rose, but it's not. It's lace panties. So when you take them out, it's a pair of panties, right? So classy guy like me. That's what
that sounds like. That's a classy move right there.
Straight up, right?
Sweetheart, I was in the truck stop.
I did. I got them.
Oh, and here's some beef jerky too.
Right. Don't pay attention to the bag being open. I had me some.
Do they sell that at Buc-ee's?
Probably. They sell everything else at Buc-ee's. I'm sure they sell that too.
Mark Batson put out a video about a guy. I actually saw it a couple of times. He made a 52 Ford pickup truck as one of the Buc-ee's mobiles, because apparently every Buc-ee's has like a classic car with a display of the beaver nuggets on it. And I always wanted
that was a nickname of mine in college.
Beaver nuggets? Wow.
Beaver nuggets.
I'm sorry. I only say sorry because my nickname was Buffalo Nuggets. So,
well, don't look now, but we got Fred Henry in here. Matt.
Hey, Fred. Oh yeah, look at this. Rick Zink. Hey, Rick. How are you, buddy?
Z's in the house.
And I saw Lucas C is commenting up in there too.
He is. Lucas C is in here.
You can't get away from that guy.
There ain't no way Lucas C is in here. Let me scroll. Did I miss it? I did. Hey, y'all.
He's here. In the live. In the flesh.
In the flesh. We got to get him on here one of these weeks.
We do got to get him on here. I tell you who else I've been trying to romance to get on here, but apparently in the 3D printing world, Sunday is shipping day. But I've been talking to Joel, trying to get him in here, and maybe even Josh. We were blessed to have Matt in here already. I'd like to get him back.
I'm leaving. Of course you're leaving.
You got recognized. Now you got to go, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's it. I'm out of here.
I'm out of here.
That is not a good one. That might
If y'all had,
what are you
Go ahead.
What are you building, Justin?
I'm putting together a Iceman Collections Buick Nailhead for 32 Ford.
Hang on just a
Nice.
second. Let's get you up there where you can see it. Sweet. That's the nailhead.
Yeah, you should totally like move it around so that your camera moves and I get motion sickness.
Right.
So I throw up all over my desk. Yeah, keep moving it.
It looks good, dude. I love the
Do a
staining on
loop
that
to loop.
header.
Do a loop to loop so I can have a stroke. All right, there we go.
There we go.
They're gonna flash back to the picture of all four of us, and one of my face is gonna be drooping.
Right.
But just on one side.
Yeah.
That's funny. Mike Dorn, what's up, buddy? Woo.
Michael Doran.
Yep.
I have a question that Mike Doran and I were speaking about prior to the start of the show. Mike's building a Volkswagen bus, and he wants to wire the engine. It's one of the Revell 124th scale buses. Besides the distributor wires, is there like vacuum lines or any of that stuff?
If there is, it would be underneath the shroud, the protector shroud anyway, depending on what motor he's using. Most of that stuff would have been underneath the protector shroud or near the protector shroud. There is
Generator wires.
generator wires, and there is a PVC that's not going to be molded in on the kit. Even the I just did that one for, I say I just did it last year, the Iceman one. The only thing that's not molded in there that would be there is a little hose coming off the valve cover into one of the carburetors on the side. So that's just like a PVC thing. But, I mean, that would.
Can you think of like a good reference that he could check out to get like pictures and stuff?
Oh, you could. I mean, you could literally just Google Volkswagen bug and images on Google. That's what I did because I didn't know where to run the wires. Right, I did the wires as well. I didn't know where to run them, and depending on what motor and there's just like anything else, you can customize them. I ran mine up over the shroud. I could dig it out and show you, but I ran mine up over the shroud and ran them all together. And there was already,
and it would be the same between a bug and a bus.
Yeah, they're same motor.
Yes. Yeah. Yep.
Same motor.
You could always go and hop it up and get one of those turbo VW motors or a Porsche motor from Iceman.
I've got one of those actually.
That's what I did. Hang on.
That thing is nice.
Yeah, let me show you. I got mine right here. Hang on just a second. See now, doing this reorganizing that I've been doing all weekend, I can actually get to my build kit so I can show you.
Mike and I went to high school together, so he can fill you in on what young Frank was like. Believe it or not, old Frank is a lot better behaved. A lot better behaved.
I can get that. I can see that.
Let me get it up here on the big screen. But you can see the wires. You know, this is the twin turbo. The turbo part of it is off right now, which is good because you can see the wires. But you can see where I ran it up over. Get it up here. I ran it up over top of the shroud and run it that way. I've seen them run behind the shroud. I wanted to show off the wires, so I ran them up over the shroud, and I used little bitty, teeny tiny beads from Hobby Lobby to run the wire through as a guide. And it
I'm glad you said Hobby Lobby, not your personal collection.
Well, yeah, you know, those were much larger than what this needs, but and they work real good as a guide to run those wires through and keep them all, you know, organized.
Nice.
But,
Let me see if I can grab that kit. Hold on.
that Volkswagen is Fred Henry's favorite build of mine. So Fred's got low standards, but thanks, Fred.
Okay.
Deep Junk Garage. What's up, Donnie Griffiths?
I see Deep Junk Garage is in there, and I haven't heard from him in a minute.
Really?
How you doing, buddy?
Let's Sorry for the racing videos from Jason. Watch number 1 today. Great job, Jason. Keep up the amazing work. I was telling him the same thing. I love that idea, that concept. That's
Thank you,
gonna be
sir.
cool. Felix in the wheel to get stash collection when I quit. We were talking a little bit behind the scenes, but a little pro tip for you guys that are considering buying the acrylic pens from AK, and you're not sure if you like using the AK stuff or like using acrylic pens. Hobby Lobby sells these for $30. They're acrylic markers. I'm liking them. I think the AK will be better only because of the color palette, but I'm really enjoying these acrylic markers, and it's a cheap way to find out if you're going to like them or not. You don't have to buy the whole kit. You can buy just one and check them out, but I'm really digging them. Fred says he's willing his stash to Felix whenever he kicks the bucket.
Nice.
That kid's going to have a bunch of 67 Chevelles. Show the tip of the... Yes, sir, Matt. I'll show you the tips. They got the brush style tip on them.
Just the tips.
Just the tip.
Yeah, I don't want to see the rest of it. That's
It's got the brush style tip on it, and they work
It's
really
Sunday.
well. Right? It's not that kind of show. But they work really, really well. Like I said, this Master's Touch from Hobby Lobby, you can buy them online or you can buy them at the store, either way. But you probably won't be able to see it, but I'm going to try to get it up here for you. But that's a Excel coil, and you can see I use the acrylics on it. So it's got the black strap that holds it in place, the yellow coil, and the brown tip for the Excel. I did all that with those pens and didn't have any trouble with it trying to bleed over or whatever, make it bigger. Jesus, man, demanding some bitch, ain't you? All right, so we'll do both. We'll go back to the pen. So it's got the brush style tip, which is
Just
pretty
the
cool. Just the tip
Of the pen.
of the pen. And then here's the Excel coil that I just did with them. You can see it's camera's not going to pick it all the way up, but I had no trouble getting the yellow in there, the black strap and the brown top, and didn't have, wasn't bleeding all over the place. Put a couple layers on it and didn't lose any details. So
I'm not sure how the pen would pick it up anyway. You got no arms.
I give up. I'm trying to be helpful. You guys got to give me a hard time. Pick on the handicap, why don't you?
Jesus Christ.
The pen. Oh, Tim Kalenkowitz in the house. What's up, Tim?
Hey, Tim.
Hey, Tim.
Yeah, I've seen that. Gallery has come out with those pens as well. So.
Dirty whore.
Ohio Ken, yeah, they're cool. Like I said, I didn't want to spend the $150 to find out that I didn't like them, but they do look just like the AK pens. You're absolutely right, Matt. They look just like them, but the colors are different. The AK stuff is definitely more automotive / hobby oriented. So I don't know if it's, I don't know. I guess there's a lot of military colors in there. So if you were to buy the whole kit and you did military stuff, they're probably well worth the money. There's Pinky. What's up, Pinky?
What's up, Pinky? Group question. What's the best way to store or organize the overflow of unused decals?
Photo binder.
Yep. Took the words right out of my mouth.
Must have been while I was kissing you.
Must have been.
It's like meatloaf.
I hate meatloaf.
You ain't never had my meatloaf.
Oh, no, not the food, the singer.
Yes,
Sorry.
I know that.
The meatloaf.
Talking about the photo binder, like this one. I got a bunch, but it's just an old photo book. They work great, except when they fall out on you.
Might want to try to keep that in a place that's atmospherically controlled with the least amount of humidity possible.
Yeah, well, it's in my room with my dehumidifier, so that's as close as I get.
Don't tell
Not
him
too
how to
dry.
live his life.
But not too dry either, because then that could also.
Well, I've got the cheese paper or cheesecloth or whatever they call it in there with it, so
Yeah.
hopefully that'll help keep it from sticking to the cellophane. It's the plan anyway. We'll see how that works out, but that's the plan. Using another Conacher pre-wired distributor on my roundy round short block or small block. Love them Conacher distributors, man. They're awesome.
Are you going to make sure that the firing order is correct?
Yeah, because I'm going to drive it as soon as I get done, right? I'm going to fire it up and drive it over to Richard Petty's house, and he and I are going to hang out and take it for a spin.
What a silly thing, but I always do try to make sure the firing order is correct. What a silly thing to do, though, right?
I'm a little crazy, and that's one of the things that I do.
All right, tell the truth. You're more than a little crazy.
Yeah, it's true.
And that's okay. It's okay. I put some cheddar cheese between mine. No way.
So speaking of wires, I sat here earlier today and made out of pieces of sprue and the wrapping wire. I made 5 magnetos for that tractor.
Yeah, I didn't think about it the other day when we were talking about it, and I said just use the Conacher. I didn't think about there being 5 motors on that thing, and those things are like what, $10 a piece?
$10 a piece, yeah.
Like, I see where he's coming from. Now that would be a little pricey.
Yeah, it's a little bit more than I want to put into it.
All right, Tim says he's logged in. There he is. All right, Mr. Tim, let me find my mouse here. There we go.
Want to let him in?
Yeah, we got him. There he is.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
What's happening, buddy?
Nothing. How are we all?
We've been on for 22 minutes and 49 seconds, so you didn't miss much.
No, not much.
I hope everything's everything's okay, I hope.
Yeah, he just got second-degree burns on his fingers, so that's all right.
Uh-oh.
Well,
What did he touch that he wasn't supposed to?
Well, he was working on the tractor that he recently purchased.
Yeah.
He had the torch in one hand, and he was doing something and forgot that he had the torch in his hand and ran his fingers underneath it.
Oh,
shit.
that'll get your attention every time.
Yeah, so second-degree burns on 3 of his fingers, so they wrapped him up and sent him on his way and told him not to go to work, but he's going to go anyway because that's just who he is.
that's what he does.
Yeah. He's part-time, X. Takes a ticket and keeps on licking or whatever it is. And he's part Energizer Bunny. And to top it off, he's 86 years old, so it's crazy.
So now this is your father or your father-in-law?
My father. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now the real question is, did he ask you to stop for barbecue on the way home?
No.
It's like, ooh, the
was
neighbors are
mad,
smoking something.
Yeah. He was mad because I told him he couldn't go back in the garage tonight.
You're on restriction. You can't go in.
You're on restriction.
So I said to him, I said, listen, enough for one day. Lock it up and go in the house.
You're grounded.
Yeah. Kids, you know how they are.
Yeah. They sure do.
Jason, Papa's Model Garage, said he was at a soccer game yesterday on Long Island, and he found your clone. Apparently, there's a clone of you.
Saw a guy at my grandson's soccer game yesterday. No kidding.
That's a little
That
scary.
poor bastard.
That's a little scary. So, I mentioned that I've been reorganizing my room. I've reorganized my tools and stuff, and now I got to spend 15 minutes trying to find everything, figure out where I moved it to.
I was gonna say, when are you gonna change around those empty boxes behind you?
Yeah, I know. It's time to update, get some new empty boxes, but my friends won't send me any other empty box kits.
Time to get new empty boxes.
Well, you know, I was joking about the empty boxes, obviously, but that's something I really do. I'll go through my stash every couple months and shuffle things around because I forget what's in the back. So doesn't hurt to reorganize your stash from time to time.
No.
Yeah, that's why these ones take up so much space because they're single deep, right? Unless it's the same kit, they're single deep. So that takes up a lot.
Does that stance look okay?
Hell yeah, it looks good.
Got a 3-point football stance going on. Oh, look at that. I like it.
That is awesome.
That is awesome.
And that's your decal on the side of it, Frank?
Yeah.
Man,
Those things
you make me so jealous, Frank. That is so cool.
That is too cool. Too cool.
Frank, are you actually working on something?
I am.
Wow. Very impressive, young man.
I am.
See that? You're not just a pretty face after all.
No.
Did you see the picture that Frank changed his Facebook I think it's Facebook page too?
No.
It's him sitting at a table, I'm assuming at a restaurant. His hair's all done up nice. He looks like just this cutest little boy sitting at the table ready to eat his dinner. I'm like, damn, look at this handsome devil.
My wife and I went out to the city. I think that was last year. We went to see a show, and that was me as her. No, I don't live in the city. I live on Long Island.
That's all the city to me, dude. I can't see my neighbor.
Yeah. Same here.
I was her arm candy that night.
Oh, nice.
Sure.
Now, do you charge by the hour or by the evening?
She paid up front, so
Yeah.
She paid up
by
front.
default I go out with her.
Yeah.
Nice.
If I get a better offer, then I'll clear it by her.
I mean, if you're gonna make more money, what?
Yeah. I'm trying to find where I put these Z-Force Model Works files for this, and he provides as a free file a bunch of adapters so you can get them. I can't find for the life of me. I printed like 100 of the adapters. I don't know where I put them.
Yeah, you did that in one of your videos I saw.
Yeah, I don't know where I put them.
Yeah, it's all right.
Hate when it happens.
No idea. And I just saw them recently, and I said, I got to remember where I put these because I'm going to need them.
You're gonna need them.
No idea.
That is exactly why I did this reorganizing. Along with my iCollect app, I'm trying to figure out what I got so I stop buying the same thing over and over again. Well, sure.
Oh, I do that.
Oh, I did, and it's crazy.
Remember that movie with I might have talked about it last week, where Mel Gibson has to buy Catcher in the Rye every time he sees it.
Yeah.
In that movie, there are kits that whenever I see them, for whatever reason, I have to buy them.
Yes.
The Revell early 90s Cougar and Thunderbirds, always buy those as soon as I see them. The Revell 67 GTX. Now that one I might be able to explain because when I first started dating Fran, she asked me what I did for fun. And I said, well, I get drunk. And she goes, no, like a real hobby. I said, I build models, and she thought it was cute. So she asked for a model. So I gave her a 1967 GTX from Revell. It was only out for maybe 2 or 3 years at that point.
Mm-hmm.
That's the yellow and black one?
The original one was molded in blue.
Okay.
I think I have the kit. But anyway, so I give her the kit. I bring it to her. I bring her some glue and some super glue and the nippers so she could cut their parts off. And I said, all right, have fun. I'm going to go home because I had to go to work in the morning. It was before we were married. So I get home and there's a message on the answering machine. And it's Fran. She goes, call me as soon as you get in. And I'm nervous. I get scared. Because this was even before cell phones. Like, you know, like you could have a cell phone, but not a lot of people had them at this point. It was like 1998.
Yeah.
And I was too poor at the time to own one, but whatever. So I call her back. She goes, let me tell you something. She goes, I'm never building another one of these stupid things ever again. I super glued the rearview mirror to my forehead. So now I have, there's one right there. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In total, there's got to be 8 of them.
Yeah.
Throughout the stash. So every time I see them, I buy them.
Well, what he's not telling you is he takes the mirrors off the sprue, and when his wife's asleep, he glues them to
I glue them to her forehead. Yeah. I do.
Nice.
I dechrome them first so she doesn't know what they are. Wait a minute, what is
that?
That poor woman is Groundhog Day every day for her.
Right?
That was the she never had any interest in any of this ever again.
Dwight at Northern Star said if he could pull out his workbench, he could probably find enough parts to build a whole model car. Yeah, right. Workbench in the carpet monster. I'm right there with you, Dwight.
Exactly. Heather glued her fingers together that time she built the Land Rover. She thought I was joking. I said, be careful with this glue. You glue your fingers together, and then you're in trouble. And she glued her fingers together, and then she started to panic. Yeah.
Listen, when you're in this hobby, gluing something to something that's not supposed to be glued to something isn't if, it's just when and how bad.
Yeah, exactly.
Glue only really works well when it's attaching two things that aren't supposed to be attached.
Yeah, you spend 15 minutes trying to get two pieces, they'll go together, they won't. And then as soon as you put your finger on it, stuck instantly.
Done.
Right, Fred? Yeah, photo etch is another good one. That stuff takes flight real easy.
That's why I don't mess with photo etch.
I'm working it. Riv's got me. I say Riv, he didn't do it intentionally, but watching his stuff, he's inspired me to use it, and I've had pretty good luck with it. I use a little bit here and there, but pretty cool stuff. But a pain in the butt to work with. The little bezels that go around the speedometer and the tachometer and all that on the dash. Yeah, that's a lot of fun. That's a lot of fun getting those.
That doesn't sound like a lot of fun at all. Of course, but again, I'm sitting here painting mine on this dash by hand.
It's what you make of it. Right? If it was easy, everybody'd be doing it.
Listen, it could be worse.
You shut your filthy mouth.
I mean, I guess I'm gonna have to finish this thing one day.
Yeah, well.
I mean, I know lots of people that don't finish anything. So, does it really matter? You're having fun, right?
No. It's frustrating.
Was that a backhanded slam? Was that a backhanded slam? I think I
No, that's not a backhanded slam at all. I do get kind of tired of people like, this guy never finishes this, or you never finish that. Who cares?
Yeah,
Can't
shut your filthy mouth.
Can't people just be freaking happy that people are happy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, I need an opinion.
You're ugly too.
Your mother dresses you funny.
Hell yeah, that's a fact.
I think you're a very handsome young man.
Thank you. Except for I suffer from the Zachary. I look exactly like my father's butt. How does the weathered 56 look? Does it look?
Hang on, let's get you up there so we can get a good look at it. I already know the answer, but yeah.
I was going to say,
looks
it
good.
looks
Dude.
awful. Tim, it looks awful, which is
Well, I mean,
amazing because that's
does it look
exactly
like-
how it's supposed to look.
Does it look too much or?
No,
Well, it depends
No.
on what you're going for. I
Yeah.
think it looks fantastic, like a true
Right.
armor model.
Love the flat spots on the tires,
Yeah.
the dent and the rust, the
Yeah.
pinholes where they used to hold the body trim on, the pinholes and the marks where the body trim's missing. That is freaking outstanding.
All right.
Outstanding.
Thank you.
Where's
Thank
where's the other one? The
The nice one?
Look at that.
ooh.
Dude.
I haven't clear coated it yet. It still needs to be clear coated.
Why don't you shut your mouth, Tim?
Shut your filthy mouth.
You know what,
Why don't
Tim?
you shut your face?
I'm so glad I brought you on here. Now I got to
Right?
smash all these models.
Right. Listen, I'm making a rule right now. We're no longer allowed to show Tim's paint jobs because I got a long way to go to get DSAG. Then I got to worry about trying to catch up to him. No thanks.
Yeah.
Well, it's not hard. It's not. It's not
I
hard.
could use my paint jobs as a loofah and exfoliate with them.
I feel you, Frank. I'm right there. I've said over and over, mine look like golf balls, but
I was going to say,
loofah might be my
when I
new
spray the cleaner on mine, it puddles on the roof.
Luca was asking, was that Rust-Oleum, Tim? Did you use
Yeah,
Rust-Oleum? on that?
I did.
Ah,
Tell him to shut his filthy mouth.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, here's what I use for my rusting.
Rust-Oleum.
Rust-Oleum. Hold
Yeah.
on. Let's put him. Hold on. Let me make him big. I can't even find him. Oh, there he is.
Okay.
That's what I use.
There we
What is
go.
it?
Oh, that's
One of
cool.
them, it's called Sophisticated Finishes, Antiquing Rust Solution. So this bottle here is thick black goop, and you put it on, it's really thick because it's supposed to be metal in a liquid form, and then this stuff is wicked watery, and you put on it, and that's what turns it to rust.
Wicked
Like
watery.
See, it makes it look like it's rust.
That is
So-
too cool.
And you mix it in a bag, right? And then you put the
Yeah,
model in
so-
the bag or
So
some shit?
you put the heavy stuff on, you put it in a Ziploc bag for 12 to 24 hours, no air in there. And then you take the liquidy stuff, and you put that on there, and the same thing, you put it in a bag for 12 to 24 hours, and then you end up with rust.
That
Wow.
is crazy. That is crazy.
That is crazy.
Yeah, it works pretty good, actually.
That's cray-cray.
Yeah. Yeah, so the look I'm going for is the good
Rusted.
wagon's going to be pulling the crappy one. They're both painted the same colors, and it's kind of like a before and after, but it's an after and a before
Yeah.
because after is towing the before. Because I have one of those trailers. Where is it?
Put the part in the sun after putting it in the bag, is what Tim Kolankowitz says.
Okay, that's the trailer that the bad one's going to be on.
Nice.
So I got to get around to building that. But I didn't know if it looked too much. You know what I mean?
No, I think it looks perfect.
I think it was great.
So
Jason, you just read Tim's comment with some serious Buffalo Bill from Silence of the Lambs energy. It puts the part in the sun after putting it in the bag, or else it gets the hose again.
Sorry.
it rubs the skin on its lotion.
Yeah.
It rubs the skin on its lotion.
That's
Don't you hurt brushes?
Wow.
So making slow progress on these two wagons anyway.
Looks
Has
great.
anybody ever used hologram from Splash Paint
No.
by any chance? Anybody in the comments?
Please explain.
It's a mid coat. I'm gonna be spraying it over white I'm gonna build a lowrider when I'm done with these three. So if I'm waiting for these three to be finished, we're looking at 2032, 2033. But I wanted, because Splash just came out with a 2K clear blue. which I use their 2K Clear. I don't use it well, but I use their 2K Clear, and I want to use their silver base for like the body of a 64 Impala. And then for the roof, I'm going to base coat it in white and then mid coat it in the hell did I say the name of it was?
Hologram.
Hologram.
Oh, so it's like a color shift? Is that like a color shift thing?
Yeah, yeah.
Is that like holla, Graham?
Holla.
I got some of that color shift stuff from Scale Finishes. I haven't used the splash stuff, but the Scale Finishes stuff works really well. It's just about the light hits it and goes from purple to gold to green and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But it takes a special build to be able to use it, and a lowrider would be perfect for it.
I
Or
need to start
1996
upping.
Mustang Cobra.
I need to start upping my paint game. Last week at NNL East, gentleman, I believe his name is Ralph Sanchez. I think I might be wrong. But if you like the video that I did on NNL East, if you look at about 19 minutes and 43 seconds in, those are his builds for the net, and you could tell his style. It's just, I've never seen paint like that before. On top of amazing body work, and I know I'll never get that far, but I want to like at least up my game a little bit. You know,
set your standards. Set your standards. Try to up. I know that we had this conversation before, and Tim's happy where he's at, and I would be too if I was happy where he's at.
Yeah, exactly. You know,
but
Tim's a phenomenal painter.
Time to up the game.
Yeah. Sam, are you going to Southlands this year? It's the 7th of next month.
You know, I'm pretty organized, and I still can never find what I want. And I'm looking through my stuff. It's aggravating.
No, it's not. It's not aggravating that you're looking through your stuff. It's fine.
You know, it's aggravating. I can't find what I want when I'm looking through my stuff.
Oh,
It's not aggravating that you can't find what you want.
You know,
I'm not aggravated.
Plus, it's not bothering me at all.
okay, good. Well, I'm happy about that then, because that was my big worry.
I'm sure that's exactly what your worry was. Dude, how many of you guys use wire looms? Now, the photo etch wire looms is what I've been using, but I found a guy that actually prints out the little Excel style wire guides, spark plug wire guides. You know, they got the 2 and then the 4 and all that.
Yeah. No, I don't think so.
Oh, I'm doing one right now, but Ed over at Bob's Hobby and RC, give him a shout out. Great guy. He offers these looms 3D printed, and they are teeny tiny, but they're to scale, right? I mean, they look right. And I'm trying to use my markers to get one done now, but it's like, my God, this thing is small. I can't even, if I tried to put it up on the camera, you wouldn't be able to see it.
Justin Hart makes files also for looms. Yeah, it's on his Cults 3D page.
On this engine right here that I did for the Blazer, right? This one, right there. I tried to use plug boots on the spark plug end. I went through 3 bags of them because as I opened them, gone. And I didn't, out of 3 bags, I couldn't find 8.
Were they 3D printed ones?
No, they were the little rubber ones that come with the Konica distributors.
Okay.
Yeah.
You could get them 3D printed.
I'm sure I could, but that also sounds like I would want to punch myself in the face while using them.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. You'll want to punch me in the face because I'm the one
recommending them.
Yeah.
Well, we want to do that anyway. Dinner has arrived, guys. Ladies, have a night, Fred. Have a good one, buddy.
Fred's leaving.
Yeah,
Oh, Bye,
Dinner's
Fred.
ready. Dinner's ready, so he's ready to
What
go
are you
eat
having, Fred?
whatever Miss Vicky made for him. He'll eat it with a smile.
Dinner has arrived, he says. You'd watch what? Me punch myself in the face, Matt?
Tell you like I tell my girl, why you always got to revert to violence? Stop.
Gosh.
Stop. It hurts when you hit me there.
So I used to have a saying that I used on a regular basis until I had grandkids. I used to say, that makes me so mad I could punch a baby.
Oh.
Jesus.
And then I had grandkids.
This conversation is not going to go well.
No, so yeah.
I
And I
appreciate
learned
Justin
that
not
that's the
jumping
wrong
on
thing to
that.
say. That's the wrong thing to say.
Look at you being grown up.
I very rarely get that mad anymore.
Oh my.
I put all my pots in these bins, and then I label them because I'm an idiot. And it seems like every time I need something out of one of these bins, I can't find what I'm looking for.
Well, it's because you put the labels in.
What are you looking for, Tim?
I'm looking for one rim and one tire, so I can put an odd one on this car.
It's right there on the right. That little cubby.
Is that what it is?
That's where it is. Yeah, I've seen it.
That's where it is. I can see it from here.
Yeah, yeah.
The other day when you didn't know I was there and I was stealing your stuff, I found it for you.
All right, good. Thanks. Next time, just tell me, and I'll give you keys. You don't have to break the window.
Well, trust me, you'll know when he's there.
If anybody's looking for a new airbrush, Gallery's discontinuing the GHAD 39. They're going for like $39. They're trying to liquidate the inventory.
That is cheap.
Yes, that is very
bad.
cheap. They are good airbrushes.
Yeah, their brushes are pretty nice.
A good little workhorse.
Let me see. GHAD. It's one of those ones. It comes with a 0.35 needle and nozzle set and a 0.50 needle and nozzle set. So it is kind of versatile. The action that I found on the Gallery brushes, it's very, very smooth. I found even with my Iwatas, as they get a little long in the tooth, once the chrome starts to come off, you get like a really crunchiness because the brass is a lot more brittle and subject to pitting, and then the action gets crunchy as you try to use it. It just seems that the Galleries have more chrome plating on theirs, and that it's smoother out of the box.
Okay.
So if you're in the market, go check it out.
I have two Gallery brushes. I got the a 0.2 because I wanted to
I think that's the Mobius.
Yeah, the Mobius.
Yeah, the Mobius 0.2 because I wanted to be able to do some fine work. It's a good brush. Got it for $70, I think. And then just recently, I picked up the Swallowtail.
I'm a big fan.
A 0.3, a 0.5, and a 0.7.
Yep. Did you get the fan or no?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of that one. That's what I use to spray my color with. Now, it's not the airbrush's fault. I'm going to go ahead and say this in advance. It's not the airbrush's fault that the paint looks like crap. That's user error. But the brush works really well.
I have a Pache H. I use that to everything.
That's a workhorse.
Yeah.
It'll get the job done.
Yeah. That Gallery one you're talking about, Frank, is it a single or dual action?
Dual action. Double action.
Yeah, I'm not very comfortable with a dual action.
They make
What?
it.
I shouldn't say that. I'm not that coordinated to use a dual action.
So the key to those dual actions, and this is coming from a 25-year collision repair / did everything in a body shop, including painting. is you need to learn to keep the air on at all times. So all you have to do is remember to pull back.
Okay.
That's not the. It's actually it's fantastic the control you get when you lock that in.
I'm sure it is. You're relying on me to have enough coordination to keep the air on all the time. And no way, dude.
But that's like I said, it's not difficult because all you got to do is push down.
Yeah, all you're doing is pressing the trigger.
You know what I mean? You're just putting pressure on it, and you get a hiss all the time, and then all you got to worry about is pulling it back and forth.
You can even set your trigger to go to a certain amount of material coming out, and then basically it's like having a single action, especially if you're painting a body. You know, modulating your spray pattern while you're spraying is not something necessarily we're going to use as car modelers unless we're trying to do like tonal variation on upholstery and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, by all means, take the plunge, fellas.
Yeah.
I think there's several people who have like affiliate links for Gallery. Tiffany,
Yeah,
are you one of the people?
Yeah,
I know-
Tiffany uses them. She likes them.
I was gonna say, I know Dave Wood.
Dave Wood is definitely an affiliate link, so check out Dave's channel, Woody Scale Model Garage. He definitely has an affiliate link.
I think KRD does too, right?
Yeah,
Jason?
Jason does. Jason
Jason,
KRD
yeah.
does as well. Yeah, he's got to deal with them. There's another one too. Not Mars. Does a podcast by himself, and he usually gets people on with him. Oh, I can't even think of his name. I'm embarrassed. Now I can't even think of his name.
He does a podcast by himself. Manny.
Manny. Thank you.
Oh,
Well,
yes, yeah. Manny is.
Manny, I apologize for forgetting your name, buddy. Great guy. He did an interview with me on there, and he's done a bunch, but really cool dude.
So I got a question for you guys.
Yep.
When you're building something, or you go to a show and you look at a build on the table, I like to look at mine like a real car. Like if it was 1-to-1, you could get in and drive it away. But every now and then you build something crazy, like some of that Tom Daniels show rods and stuff. That's a different class. But you guys look at stuff and say, you know, that would never run, it would never work, it would never be drivable, or is it just me being silly?
I would do the same thing, but I also wonder if there's a cool factor in there. Then that even though it would never work, if it's got a cool factor to it, I'm down with it. But if it's just blatant, not the right thing, like it doesn't have a transmission, I mean, it's something crazy like that, then that would be different. But.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you a couple things. Somebody had said something about one of my old builds that, that would never run or whatever. And I simply shrugged down, so it's just a model car. Who gives a shit? I didn't build it because I'm going to drive it home at the end of the night,
Right.
Yeah.
The first thing you need to learn, Tim, is you have to learn how to very quickly shoot your hand up like this and flick right in the Adam's apple. If you can get that down to under a second, the world is a better place. Oh, that would never. Boom! You just right there.
Well, whack. That was a long time ago, but a couple of weeks ago, I was watching a YouTube video, and the guy was showing a build, and it was absolutely beautiful. I mean, just a stunning build. But the way that the car sat, the front wheels were so tucked up into the fender well that you would never be able to steer it if it was a real car. You cut the wheel and you tear the fender off.
Well, that's how these tuner kids are now anyway. So what's the difference?
Yeah, I know, but so what do you guys think? Do you look at a build like you're building it the way you like it and that's that, or do you look at it like you're building a 1-on-1-to-1? I
was actually talking last week to Irvin Otter, who just started up his channel called the Otter Rake, and he's known for the rake that he puts into his cars, and he's known he that like people are usually surprised when they find out that some of the cars that he's built, he actually cuts the top of the wheels and tires off just to achieve that amount of massive rake.
Yeah.
So but I think he does that with the knowledge that it's not practical. He's going for a look.
Yeah.
But then nowadays with air ride suspensions and stuff, you can pose that car to have that sinister rake while it's parked.
True.
Absolutely.
And you're just going to have a show. And then, all right, I got to drive this thing now. You jack it up a little bit so that it's at least practical.
Yeah.
That's literally why I put airbags in that 54 Hudson that I built. That's why I put the airbags in it with some lines running to it to give that illusion. Like it's at a pose, it's at a car show now, so it's slammed, which is really where it stays all the time. But if you look in there, it's got some airbags, and so theoretically, you could pump the airbags up and go
like that.
Yeah,
That's that is built as it's posed, aired out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Super.
But in that respect, I did try to make sure there was space in between the wheel wells and the wheels. You know what I mean? So, like, if somebody picked it up and went, "Oh, that's stupid. That's not gonna." Oh, those are tucked right up inside there, and they're not touching the fenders, like a real car.
But you said if somebody picked it up, who
the
hell
fuck
is gonna
doing that?
Wow, the light.
Who's gonna pick it up?
But,
Let me tell you who's gonna pick it up. One of the judges at the Classic Plastic Show might, because that's how they judge. He's taken aback. Look at him. He's like, yeah.
Real. They'll pick it up, and one of the criteria that they're going to judge is drivability.
Is chassis
detail.
Chassis detail and realism.
Yeah. So the way that at our show that Jason's talking about, we judge like a 1-to-1 car show. So say you start at 100 points, and each aspect of the build gets so many points. So you get, say, just for round numbers, you get 10 points for chassis detail, 10 points for engine detail, 10 points for interior, and so on. So we have it right in our rules to say we pick up the models. And if you don't want us to, we have stickers that when you get there, you can put it on your slip that says, do not pick up model. We also have one that says, do not judge if you just want to bring them to display. So we pick them up just because we judge different than everybody else does.
Yeah. I can hear people in the chat going,
yeah. Well, and it's funny that you brought this up because I listened to the new Insanity podcast yesterday.
Yeah.
And they were talking about shows and a model getting broken. So some guys at a show, somebody accidentally, a spectator, breaks his model, and he takes the person and makes them go buy model kits and the vendor part, which I think is wrong. I like to think that other than accidental shit happens, and there's an assumed risk when you bring your model outside of your hobby room that something could happen. Shit, I've dropped them. I had one that was all finished, and I was walking from the hobby room to the kitchen to my photo booth, and I dropped it and destroyed it. And I hadn't even taken a picture of it yet. It was all done. So when you go to a show, I think there's an assumed risk. But
Absolutely.
Also, when I go to a show, I like to think that I am with fellow modelers that are doing the judging. So I don't have a problem with a judge picking up one of my models. And in the end of the day, it's just styrene plastic. Nobody died. Yeah. Nobody got shot. We're not in the emergency room. Nobody's on life support. If it gets ruined, I'll just go buy another kit and build another one.
So here's the thing that I don't have a problem with the judges at Classic Plastic picking up my model to look at it because I know them. Yeah. And I know that they're like-minded hobby enthusiasts, right?
Do they wear gloves?
Here are some what's that?
Do they wear gloves?
Some of them, yeah.
When it's cold out.
Yeah. So here are some instances when I'm not happy about somebody picking up my model. I've been to a show where the judge, and no offense to this person, if by some form of a miracle they're listening, but she was an avid Gundam builder. Had no clue about cars whatsoever. Had all kinds of jewelry on. she was judging cars, and I'm like, I certainly hope she's not going to pick. Don't touch my model.
Yeah.
I don't trust you. I also don't trust it when you have to shift categories at model shows, and the people are like, "All right, we got to move this category down 3 feet," and they start moving models. No, come get me. Come get me. I will move my models where you want me to move them.
Yeah.
And I've had a model broken at a show by a spectator. Not a bad break, but still a break. And that guy felt this big. So I get it, right?
You know, the weekend we recorded that episode, I actually saw a post on Facebook that someone said there was a spectator at the show that had an owl, and an owl knocked a model off the freaking table.
What? I meant to ask you about that. Why was there an owl at a model show?
Like, so
who lets him in?
That is the most
Exactly,
nonsensical, freaking ridiculous thing ever, right? Like, who the hell would, like, I'm just going to go to this model show with my pet owl.
What is it, an emotional support owl?
Apparently, where this show was taking place there was some kind of reenactment or something, and this person was a reenactor, and whatever they were reenacting, that character had
Harry Potter?
Quite possibly. And and so this person came into the show with his reenactment owl.
What?
You know, right there, I'm a big proponent of being inviting of all the genres and stuff like that. But once it's all shits and giggles until somebody brings an emotional support reenactment owl to a show.
Here's the problem, though.
Come on.
At that stage, that's destined to happen.
Yeah.
Who the fuck would think an owl's going to knock my model off the table at a model show?
Well, here's my question. My question is, what did he try to do? Fly away with it?
Yeah, I don't know. But
wait! I know what it was. It was a rat fink model, and he was trying to haul it off.
So, in all seriousness, I've seen people handle owls. They hold them up here.
Right. Yeah.
So how did he go from up here? Was he like waving them around?
Well, maybe, you know what? Possibly,
he's going.
I don't know, but possibly the table was on risers. At the MFCA show, we put our tables on risers.
Okay, so see, the tables were on risers. The reenactor was 4.5 feet tall. Okay,
the wingspan got out away from him.
I can't wrap my head around that whole situation.
That's destiny. That shit was destined to happen. That's all that's it. It's
Who broke the model?
it was the owl.
Who?
Yeah.
Who broke the model?
Well, here's the question. The guy with the emotional support owl put it on his shoulder every time I ask him a question. He goes, who? There's an answer.
I'm with Paul.
We had
3 words: shoot the owl.
We had a question before from Dave and Lori Beidel. What about the single action master airbrush on Amazon for like $30? It's a small stubby style. Opinions? All right. I'm not familiar with the particular model of airbrush, but I know what you're talking about. I used to have one. It's a single action. Now, it's an internal mix, if I'm not mistaken. I believe it's a gravity feed. So you do have some adjustability in terms of paint flow by dialing in and out the needle. For $30, that would be a good clear coat, because it's probably going to have a 0.5 needle. That would be a good clear coat brush.
Entry level brush too.
Yeah, a good entry level brush. It's probably going to leave you wanting more. When I believe it or not, my first airbrush that I ever bought was a Badger 150. It saved up all my tips from when I was an altar boy doing weddings and funerals and stuff like that. And I plunked down $150 for that thing. And I think they're still $150. It was a Badger 150. And I could never get it to spray correctly because I had a compressor that didn't have a regulator. So it's blasting out off at like 60 PSI. And that was siphon feed. So it was just like, double action airbrush was with an asterisk because it was just either going to shoot everything in the paint cup all at once or it wasn't going to shoot anything at all. So I then somewhere down the line, I got a Pache H. And one time my son's friend's father came over. And he was a modeler too. And he had a very thick Russian accent. And he saw the Pache H and he goes, "Oh, he's good airbrush for paint side of building." So he was breaking my chops about that. And eventually I got in a while. I bought a Neo. And I started to, I gradually worked my way up to Iwata. And then I found out that GSI Krios was very similar to Iwata, less price. It's good to know that Master Airbrush, Iwata, GSI Krios, I believe Sparman. There's a bunch of airbrush brands that are built by the same company called Olympus. And my recommendation is if you could get a someplace where you can find the schematic of the airbrush, if the designs look similar, then chances are they're made by the same manufacturer at a different price point to a different quality standard. But at the end of the day, for our purposes, we're not illustrators who are shading the background of a poster that's going to be used for an ad campaign. So we're painting models, and you don't necessarily need that Iwata custom micron that's probably up with the $500-600 at this point, when you could get a GSI Krios or a Gallery that's a internal mix, double action, gravity feed airbrush, because that's really what you're looking for. You're going to have the most versatility. You're going to have the most material control. You're going to have and having material control is going to produce a better finish, and it's going to cost you less money in the long run. So if you couple those things along with getting a compressor that has a tank in it, I think that would be the better way to go, because spending the money up front not only prevents you from wasting money down the line, because being cheap in the beginning means you're not going to you're going to move up to something better anyway, and you're going to be, you're not going to really use that airbrush.
Or you're going to get frustrated and give up on it and go back to spray cans.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good question, Dale. The 1970 007 cop car, if you don't use the light bar on the top, can you put it inside and use it as an unmarked and it still be considered box stock? I would think so, because the light came with the car. So it's out of the box. I would absolutely would think so.
I do too.
As long as you use the parts that come in the box. That's the key of box stock. It has to be a part supplied with the kit. So if it came with it, you want to strap it on the door, you can do whatever you want with it. You can put it wherever you want, as long as it came in the box when you purchased the kit.
There you go. There you go, Dale.
That's why most box stock classes at shows require that you bring the instruction sheet with it. So if they have a question, they can look on that sheet and see where that part is on that sheet.
Yep, that makes perfect sense.
Linda and Rue went to the Spring Thaw show.
Sarge, Chuck, Dylan. Dang, that was a star-studded show. Mike was
Holy
there.
cow.
The big dogs were there, man.
I didn't realize that was a show that they went to. Cool.
Where is it?
New York, I believe.
Oh yeah, they go to that one in Fulton all the time. Every year. There's one in Fulton, New York. They go to. I know.
Fulton's up there.
Yeah.
They don't like us idiots up there.
Idiots.
Idiots.
That's what we're referred to.
Chuck lives up that way somewhere up there in you know, I don't know if it's the Adirondack area or not, but it's definitely outside of the city up there in the country part of New York.
Frank, how far are you from a town called Ghent?
Ghent?
Yeah.
Far enough I've never heard of it.
Well, my wife is a paralegal, and she works for this young lady named Lisa, who's very nice. She's an Italian girl from Long Island.
Long Island.
Long Island. And she has a summer house in Ghent, New York. My wife's been to it a few times. But she says it's very, very country. She says you'd never know that you're in New York.
Yeah.
That's probably up there in the fat part of the state, up there in the Adirondacks or something.
Honestly, I would recommend if you've never been to New York, don't go to the city. Visit New York State, upstate New York. It is indescribably beautiful.
Yeah.
Especially in the autumn, like right around, because the trees drop their leaves mid-October, late September, mid-October. So try to get up there and see that. It's utterly magnificent. And like it has, you know, like you could take just go up the Hudson River and stop at towns along the way, and it's beautiful. Like they'll have farmers markets, locally grown stuff. Like they have some of that stuff out here on Long Island, but you know, it's still Long Island.
Right. I've never been to. I've driven through New York to go to NNL, but I've never been in New York. My wife goes there all the time. She loves the city. The sad part is when somebody says New York, your mind automatically goes to New York City.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is.
Ghent is almost Albany.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, if you get the opportunity to go to Albany, hang a left or a right, go around. You don't want to go to Albany.
Hey, Jason, I got that reference. New York City.
Thank you.
It's New York City.
He's thick and chunky Bacanti.
What's up, modeling chick? JB's
Hey, we were just talking about you.
No, that's why I brought it up.
Modeling chick.
Okay, we know the modeling chick.
We do.
Very nice young lady. I think she just turned 27, I think she said the other day.
Something like that.
Yesterday. I think she said she just turned 27.
Something like that.
Yeah.
The modeling chick says hi to everybody but me. And
wow. I guess you know where you stand.
She's like, oh, that's one of them insanity guys. I'm not, no.
Who's this fucking guy?
Right?
I don't recognize the name, so she might have started coming in the last 2 episodes when I wasn't here, so I won't hold it against her.
She's a member of me and Jason's club.
Okay.
She's a member of the Classic Plastic group. Her and her husband.
An amazing builder as well. I've seen some of her work. She is an amazing builder.
Very, very talented young lady.
Nice.
Her husband's a great builder as well.
Rue does a lot of motorcycles, right?
He does a lot of motorcycles. He does military. The kid can do everything. I wish I had half his talent.
Linda does beautiful work too.
Yeah, she certainly does. And they're very, very nice people.
Linda, did you guys? You didn't go to NNL East, right? I was looking for you.
No, I don't think they went. Usually there's about 20 guys.
For you, Miss Linda. You wanted to get her out and have a little conversation with you.
I was looking for you guys.
These guys.
I like meeting people from New England. Like people think, he's from New York. He hates it. People from Massachusetts. I love people from New England and especially Massachusetts. I love you guys.
That's because we're all massholes. That's why.
That's the
I have yet to meet one.
That's
Really?
the only state in the union.
And again, I've only been to Boston 3 or 4 times.
Well, there you go. There you go.
When I was younger, I wound up in Boston. I don't know how I got there twice.
Massachusetts is the only state in the union where you can hear "wicked" used for just about everything. That's wicked cool.
Smart.
That wicked sucks. That's wicked.
Wicked smart.
You're wicked dumb. You know that?
There's a few things you hear in New England. Wicked pisser is one of them. Wicked smart is the other one. And the term dink. That guy's a dink. You only hear that in Boston.
Ever since I left Vermont, I can't remember what they say up there. And then when I go up there, I can't understand what they're trying to say.
Do you miss Vermont, though? That's the key.
I like going up there. Frank was just talking about going up there during the fall. I call it leaf picking season. And that is definitely the time to be up there. Jason knows because he lives right in the middle of it. But
yeah,
it's a beautiful time of the year to be up there. The only thing I truly miss, especially about the wintertime, is ice fishing. I used to love to go ice fishing. Don't do much ice fishing in Florida.
Well, I gotta say, ice fishing I never got. I'm gonna sit outside in the freezing cold with my pole in an ice cold hole. It just don't sound good.
I'll tell you what, I don't like fish that much.
I used to love going, man. It was fun. And I'd go with my uncle who was old school. He didn't even have an ice auger. He took a chainsaw out there with him, and he cut the blocks of ice out with a chainsaw and then stacked the blocks of ice up whichever way the wind was blowing and stand behind that and smoke 2 packs of Marlboros and drink Wild Irish Rose like it was going out of style.
There you go.
We used to do fishing trips where we go out for bluefish. It's like a day at work. And after a while, I was like, they were like, "You're not going to come?" I'm like, "Absolutely not." Why not? Because it's like a day at work. They fight you. If they were going for sea bass or flounder, or like fluke, yeah, all day. Fluke, they don't care. They're like, they know it's bait. They bite it. They're like, all right, I guess this is the end, and they just come right up.
I guess
you know why they do
It's
that?
like literally like this. They just because 9 times out of 10 they're not a keeper. They know they're getting thrown back.
Well, no,
because
the reason why they do that, they get their friend Jellyfish beside them saying, "Go into the light, go into the light."
No, nowadays you got to catch like a doormat to keep a fluke.
Miss Linda says her phone went bad, so she came in on is that Ron? Rune?
Ruane.
Okay. So she came in on his phone, said her phone was acting up.
Yeah. Frank, that's why when you catch a good one, they call it's a fluke. It never happens.
Yeah. Delicious stuff. The only good thing about going blue fishing is you might catch a yellowfin tuna.
Yeah.
They'll give you a fight. You know you got a yellowfin because you'll be at the front of the boat, and the next thing you know, it's dragging you to the back of the boat.
Yep.
You've tangled up with every line on that boat. And they're like, "Oh, we got a yellowfin," and you're fighting with this thing, and all you hear is, zzz,
yeah,
because it is gone.
And when you finally get that fish on board, you are flat and worn out.
Yeah, you're done. You're done. Meanwhile, it's on the deck, moving at light speed.
Yeah,
it's like a quasar trapped in the
fucking quasar.
How fast it's moving!
All of a sudden, Frank is fucking Carl Sagan.
I know, right?
Now, the one thing I couldn't get into, and I went one time when I lived up north, was during the salmon season when they're fishing off the piers and all that in the Great Lakes. What is that? Not Erie, the Toronto or whatever that Great Lake is up there that New York's on.
Toronto?
Is that what it's right? Ontario or whatever?
Ontario.
There we go.
You compounded Huron and Ontario.
Okay, whatever one it was, they're standing like this with these little yellow bait that's supposed to be fish eggs. They're standing like this. There's lines everywhere. Somebody fish on. They got to reel yours in so he can. I'm like, no, I'm not doing this. This is not for me. I couldn't even hold my beer. I'm like, how am I going to hold my beer? Like, I can't do it. So I went to the hatchery and watched them all swim by.
I'm glad you got your priorities straight.
Hey, you know it.
My friend asked me if I wanted to go hunting. He works for the phone company too. I said, so let me hold on a second. We climb telephone poles for a living in the cold, and you want me to spend my time off climbing a tree and sitting in the cold, and then chasing something after I shot it? No thanks, I'm good.
Yeah, not my thing either.
Then you got to drag the damn thing out.
A friend of mine lives way up north, and he's a hunter and everything. And he sends me a picture a couple of weeks before Thanksgiving, and he's got about 15 turkeys in his backyard. And I said to him, "Fine, what you should do is invite them all to dinner." He goes, "I did, just one, Joey, but he don't know he's coming yet."
Well, I hunted a pretty good bit when I lived up north, and then I moved down here, and they were like, "Come on, let's go whitetail hunting." I'm like, "Okay." I go, and this little, what we would have called a skipper, goes running by, and my buddy's like, "Dude, you didn't even see it." I said, "Yeah, I saw that little skipper. I'm not shooting the babies." He's like, "No, that was full grown. That's a full grown deer." And I'm like, "Yeah, I don't need to be hunting in Florida."
Yeah. It's like hunting a lap dog.
It is. They're like big Great Danes.
Jeez.
And they hunt with dogs down here, and I get why they hunt with dogs, because of the swamp or whatever, and snakes and all that. But the first time I saw dogs chasing deer, I'm like, that's like absolutely against everything I ever knew growing up.
Frank, you done working?
I'm trying to think where those things are. It's making me angry.
Well, I can tell you this: it's right where you put them.
It is.
Which is right next
I'm
to where you
waiting.
haven't worked yet.
Right now, I'd be in Chitterbox getting ready to set up another print of them, but my printer's going. I'm printing transmission tunnels for a Pro Mod chassis.
Nice.
I have everything done for the Pro Mod chassis except for the transmission tunnel, and I'm having a problem because the file, the way it comes, it's much too big. It's like tremendously oversized. And I tried lining it up with the part that it's supposed to go into, and I either had to print it at 40%, 42.5%, 45%, 43%, 47.5%, or 50%. So I printed all of them. See which one fits the best.
There you go. You know that you could call like Iceman or VGC or MV, you can call one of those guys and save yourself a ton of time, right?
Yeah. I like printing though. It's fun. Yeah.
Well, I'm not the most intelligent person.
I don't believe that for a second.
Yeah, well, it's not hard to believe. Listen, if my wife did not lay my clothes out for me in the morning, I'd go to work naked. So that tells you how smart I am. So,
Really,
not that there's anything wrong with that.
No, exactly.
Unless you work in an elementary school.
It's funny. Human resources told me there was something wrong with that. I have a hard enough time building a model and then trying to figure out the files and the percentages and all that just would kick my ass all around the room.
It's rare that you have to change the.
That's why it pays to have a really good friend in New York that knows all about that stuff.
Yes.
It's very rare that you have to change the percentages. The only time usually you would have to change the percentages is if you're changing the scale.
Yeah.
So if you get a file that's drawn in 1/24th scale and you need it in 1/25th scale, you have to print that at 96% because 1/25th scale is 96% of 1/24th.
Okay.
That kind of thing. There are some files that come in 1/10th scale, and then you have to print them at 40% to get them to 1/25th. But other than that, for the most part, like the big file creators, like Andre Bezrodny is the big name in bodies and kits, like full kits of a car. When you buy one of his files, you can download it in 1/8, 1/10, 1/12, 16th, 18th, 20th. Actually, no, not 20th. 24th, 25th, 1/28th scale for some reason. I think that might have something to do like a train scale. Then 1/32nd, 1/35th, which is good for military modelers, and then 1/43rd, which is like a very popular scale for over in Europe. They have a lot of 1/43rd. If you remember back in the days of Scale Auto Enthusiast, Wayne Moyer's articles were almost always about 1/43rd scale.
Yeah, there's a company that makes a lot of race cars. I think it's called Starter. And I think a lot of their stuff is 1/43rd.
Yeah.
We had a
Mini Champs
to build them.
Whatever you do, don't mention 1/20th scale too much, because then you're going to trigger Jason. Those of us that are avid fans of the podcast know that Jason is trying to get the 1/20th scale deleted from history. He wants it gone.
It is. Yes.
He wants it gone.
Exactly.
Why?
Because I don't like it.
Because it's stupid.
Because it's stupid. No, I shouldn't say that. We had somebody email the podcast a few months ago, and we just did our email extravaganza yada yada thing, right? We recorded Friday, and we answered the email, and the email was, if you could eliminate a scale from any genre, what would it be? And if you could replace it with a new scale in any genre, what would it be? So I said, get rid of 1/20th. The only thing that comes in 1/20th is freaking Indy cars that look good. I've had a couple of 1/20th scale kits. They just don't, they're too big. They don't look right to my eye.
Okay.
So I said, get rid of the 1/20th. I have a 1/25th scale Indy car here. It looks good sitting on it's like scale-wise, it looks good.
Yeah.
And I said, I want to see some 1/25th scale military stuff.
That would be cool.
1/25th scale military. To me, it makes 1/25th scale military.
Yeah.
They had a Panther Tiger, a Panther tank in 1/25th scale.
I've never seen
that wasn't 1/16th.
Nope. 1/25th.
I've never seen anything 1/25th in military.
They
like
had
ever.
figures in 1/25th.
They had somebody made. I don't know military at all, so I'm never going to attempt to remember what it was. But it was a truck, kind of a cool looking truck. It had a low bed and it had a dozer on it, and I thought that was 1/25th. They had like a D8 dozer on it with armor all on it and all that stuff. I think somebody made that in 1/25th, and it was pretty cool. I saw a few.
Yeah, there was. It wasn't a popular scale, but you have to also understand the only reason that 1/35th scale exists is because Tamiya-san, the original Mr. Tamiya, wanted a scale so that he could produce tanks that he could easily motorize as small as possible while still being motorized, which is why a lot of the old Tamiya kits inside the hull of the tank, you'll see like spots where you could put a switch, a battery box, and a motor.
Yeah.
So that the tank could be motorized.
I have no problem with 1/35th scale looking at them.
Oh, I don't either.
Well, that's another thing. With my headset on, I still can't see the parts. I still have a hard time, because some military vehicles I think are awesome and I'd love to build them.
Yeah.
1/35th, I just can't see the stuff.
So that decision on my part, 1/25th scale military stuff, wasn't geared toward armor per se, but like the soft skin stuff, like the wheeled vehicles, like a deuce and half. I'd love to have a 1/25th scale deuce and half to put with my other big trucks.
All right.
Or the Jeep,
is what
stuff
you
like
have.
that, or a half track in 1/25th scale.
That'd be cool.
That would be
It's
very
been
cool.
done. If you think about it, the Tom Daniel
Eventually-
Rommel's rod is a half
Yeah.
track, and it's 1/24th scale.
Yeah. I'm sure somebody's going to jump on the 3D printing them. And it's not that it's not that difficult if somebody produces something in 1/35th scale that's 3D printable, to get it from 1/35th to 1/25th. It's just a matter of reducing it in the slicing software. It might get a little hinky, and supports might get messed up, and it does change a lot of stuff. It would depend on how the actual 3D model is designed.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm talking out of school because my knowledge on the subject is minimal. So Joel and Josh would be the guys to ask.
I know, a military kit compared to an automotive kit, like most of the new Revell kits, they're anywhere from 100 to 140 parts. And a lot of the military kits are in the hundreds, 200, 300, 400 parts. I have a little, if you remember the Jeeps, the ones that were the forward control cab from the 60s?
Yep. Yeah. Call it FC. Yep.
Yeah, I love those. I think they're the coolest looking thing. One of my father's friends had one, and nobody makes a model of it. So I found this military kit that looks like that, but it's got a tank on it. It's a Russian truck. It's got an oil tank on it. And I thought it was the coolest thing until I opened the box. The cab fits in the palm of my hand, and my hand's not that big. So then I started looking through. I'm like, there's got to be 400 parts for this thing, and half of them I couldn't see them. So I still have it. I bought it years ago, and I've never built it. It's still cool, but that's the problem I have with the military stuff. So 3D printing, I would think a 1/25th model car compared to 3D printing a 1/35th military armor kit. It's got to be 3 times as long in the file size and all that stuff.
You gotta wonder if the tooling, because what we always heard growing up was, the tooling is the most expensive part. I think at this point, tooling is still rather expensive, but not as expensive. I think at this point, as far as car modelers are concerned, it's the licensing.
Yeah.
They're paying for the licensing, and that's the big ticket item. Because with CAD design and rapid prototyping and all that other stuff, tooling isn't what it used to be. It's still expensive.
Yeah.
I don't think it's as relatively expensive as it used to be. It's the licensing. Now, if you're, I believe, I don't know if it's still the case, they had passed a law that anything that was whose research, design, and development was funded by the American people is considered, like, for example, an F-18. I don't know if they have to pay royalties and licensing fees on the scale that they would for like an F-18, on the scale that they would for a Chevy Corvette.
Yeah.
Because the F-18 was developed via taxpayer funding for the most part. There was a large influx of taxpayer money in its development. So now I don't know if that's still the case. It is certainly the case as far as the markings on a jet. So tail art on a Navy jet can't be copyrighted because it was done on government time, and they don't own the. If anything, like say they put Yosemite Sam on the back of it, whoever, Warner Brothers could probably tell the Navy, all right, take that off. They won't do it, but you could have that kind of thing. It's such a convoluted mess where in the past companies used to provide this. Here, we want you to get this out there so that if the kid builds a model of it or it gets a promo, he's gonna complain to his father until he goes out and buys the car. Right. Whereas now we have to maximize every single stream of revenue while covering all the liabilities, and that actually entered the discussion. They didn't want somebody suing Boeing because the kid cut his finger building a model of a B-17 using an X-Acto knife. Because an enterprising attorney might actually do that, introduce litigation against Boeing and X-Acto and Revell and
Right.
because the kid cut his finger.
Yeah.
And that's the world we live in.
Well,
Yes,
I noticed
unfortunately.
that when they come out with a new kit, like I know Revell more than anybody. When they come out with something new, they will do 5, 6, 7 different versions of the same kit to get their money back on what those molds cost. So what it costs for the licensing, the molds, and all that stuff, they just came out with that Stranger Things blazer. Well, now they come out.
You're going to be seeing that thing for the next 10 years,
Yeah,
15
because
years.
now they're coming out with that high roller GMC Jimmy. It's the same kit with a different grill in it and different tires. So they're going to maximize their money. They did that with that Ford station wagon. You had the police version, you had the regular version, you had the drag version, So they do that, I think, to get their mony back and all that other stuff, that's involved in it. So I get it, but
which makes sense. I mean, they're not doing it as they're not here they're here to make money.
right.
Model companies exist to make money, and for the most part, the people involved, it is a labor of love.
Yeah,
I understand that part, but ultimately, if the company's not making money, they're gonna go bye-bye.
Yeah.
So they got to make their money back.
Yeah.
But Frank, you were talking about licensing. I listened to a lot of the JR Salvino stuff, and of course, everything they're doing, they're tied to NASCAR. Not everything. They got IndyCar too, but they were talking about that. They actually, when they do a prototype or they build a new kit or whatever, they have to send it off to NASCAR to get approval for it to be done that way. And they said that NASCAR works with them really well. They don't have any problems, but it's still part of the process. Is they could have it all ready to go. It could be in boxes ready to go, be shipped out. But if NASCAR doesn't give it the thumbs up, then it don't go until NASCAR gives it the thumbs up.
Does NASCAR have to give it a thumbs up, a big old thumbs up?
Big old thumbs up.
I know the Slicks decals used to make beautiful NASCAR decals, and they stopped because of licensing.
Yeah.
It just got too expensive. They you're making an $8 decal sheet. How many do you have to sell to get that money back for the licensing?
But the problem is, once a corporation becomes aware that their copyrighted and trademarked intellectual property is being used by another commercial entity, they have an obligation to the stockholders, the board of trustees, everybody and their mother to go and protect the trademark. So they'll come after you because they have an obligation to. Because what happens is, let's say 6 decals is a big wheel in this cracker factory of model car building.
Mm-hmm.
But in the grand scheme of things, they're not this behemoth mega corporation.
Right.
But if they don't enforce the copyright against somebody like them, then you might get a corporation who's going to infringe on it and then could say, well, you didn't do anything to Slick's decals. What are you coming after us for?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why are we getting?
We had a landscaper in this area, a pretty big company. And he had Disney characters all over his trucks. And he was a huge Disney guy. He took his kids down there all the time. He loved Disney. That's why he did it. Well, somebody sent pictures of the truck to Disney, and he got a cease and desist order. And then you think, well, Disney's down in Florida, and how would they know? Well, somebody sent a picture of one of the trucks. Somebody blabbed, and they said you get so many days, and he had to have all his stuff taken off all his trucks and everything.
It's worse than that.
Yeah.
In a situation like that, there was actually, I believe my wife told me this story. There was a woman who was denied entry into Radio City Music Hall in New York City. They have facial recognition software that runs while you're in line to come in, and they bought her. They said you're not allowed to enter this property. She was like, why? She was like on a class trip with a kid, because you were a participant in litigation against the company that owns this property. She was a lawyer. She was a lawyer in a law firm, not even involved with the litigation. She was a lawyer in the law firm that somebody sued the owner of the property. So based just on that, nope, get out.
Yeah. So she was.
I wouldn't put it past them. Yeah, guilt by association.
Yeah, exactly.
I wouldn't put it past Disney to say, oh, by the way, we sent you a cease and desist letter. You're not allowed in the park. Beat it.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
And
Disney.
unfortunately, the way the laws are written, they have to do stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because then principals and the officers of the company could be brought up on charges at a stockholder meeting for not protecting the corporation.
Yeah. Yeah. I get it. We go to Disney. Well, not as much anymore. I don't have kids, but I have a bunch of nieces and nephews. So we belong to the Disney Vacation Club. So we used to go twice a year down there since the 90s. So now my wife just goes down with her girlfriends and they hang out by the pool all day and go to dinner at night. But anyway, one year we were down there, my wife's mother was with us, and we were in a restaurant, and some woman had spilled her drink and didn't tell nobody on a hardwood floor. So my mother-in-law comes around the corner and she hits it and ends up on her ass in a heartbeat. So they come over, they call an ambulance, they check her all out, make sure she's all set. Of course, they buy everybody's meals, they give everybody this, and give them that. In the end, she had to sign something saying that she wasn't going to sue them and that she was okay. She was refusing to go to the hospital and all this stuff. And she ended up being fine. It wasn't a big deal. So then that same trip, we had done this thing called the backlot tour. And it took me down into the Utilidor, down where all the costumes are and all that, and told us how everything works. And the guy that did the tour, he said, in the Disney parks, as many people as you see in uniform, there are that many people in regular clothes that work for Disney and just listen to what's going on to make sure there's no fraud or anything. And then he told us about this case. They used to have this ride in Epcot, and it was where the end of the seas were all the big fish tankers and all that stuff. And it was called a hydrolator. And you walked in one side, and the floor would start to shake, and it would drop a little bit, and it looked like you were going underground. And then the door would open on the other side, and you walk into where the fish tank is and everything. They had a woman tried to sue them that said it dropped too fast and popped their eardrums. So he was telling us the story, and that there was a plain person looking like a guest in that thing with her. And he opened both doors and he pushed the button, and the floor dropped an inch. The floor doesn't move. It gives you the illusion that it does, but it dropped an inch. So they had the courthouse, the jury and everything come out to Disney, and they showed them how much it dropped, and that's how they won that case. But people are crazy because they're so big and they get all the money. They want to sue them for everything.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that, but Disney, if you live around here, Disney is, especially in Orlando, they didn't have to pay for, like, the city had to pay for, like, when they would widen the street or something or put a turn lane in, the city had to pay for all that. City had to pay for all the police. They're changing that now, thank goodness. But Disney was like the Hitler of Orlando. I mean, whatever he said, whatever they said went.
Yeah.
Hitler of Orlando.
Yeah, well, that's good.
Never quite heard that before.
Somebody just made a list.
Yeah. Well, that's because when Disney bought all that property and did that, some bad politician made a bad decision and let them get away with it all these years.
Yeah.
They're cranking it down
took
now.
the payoff.
I just want to go on record as the father of a now 11-year-old daughter who tends to go to Disney World or Disney property at least once a year. I in no way endorse or agree with the statements of Michael Jackson, scale model outlaw. I ain't looking for no trouble from Disney.
Yeah.
Boy, that's no joke.
Right?
I don't want no part of that smoke.
Oh, that's hilarious.
That smoke.
That whole thing is that when he started that, he intended for people to live there, like Ford did back in the day.
Yeah, Epcot was supposed to be a community of
City of Tomorrow, yeah. So it was, but it worked out the way it did, but still.
That's crazy.
That's like when Henry Ford was cranking it. You could live at his place, you couldn't smoke, you couldn't cuss, you had to eat this food, drink that milk or whatever, because he was running the show, buddy, when you lived on his property.
Justin wouldn't be able to say a word.
Goddamn right. Damn the man.
Damn the man.
Damn the man. I saw something in the chat that I really liked, y'all. Let me see. Was it
Tim or Jason?
JB's Hobby Loft and David McGibbon. Looks like they just made friends, and JB is pointing them out to go to what looks like a model club group. So maybe they're moved up that way. That's pretty cool, man.
That is pretty cool. So
We're
chat,
bringing people together.
Yep.
hold on. I'm going to put this question up. I'm not exactly sure what we're talking about here. Okay. Tim or Jason, at the RTS Expo, no clue, I don't go. If I'm building a box stock Johan Cuda that was missing the tires, what class to enter it in?
Well,
Sounds like you would enter that in the stolen class.
Yeah. Well, I would put it in factory stock and put it up on blocks.
Yeah, there you go. So, but if you're planning to put tires on it, you could put mag wheels on it and put it in. Does Stuart, does he have a day 2 class?
I'm looking right now. Let me get my flyer.
Sounds like he needs to build it not box stock just so that he can fit the wheels in there.
Yeah, I don't.
That was
Have a
missing
better
the
chance at
tires.
whatever.
Could you just look for the tires that should have come in the kit and use those?
Well, they have a class. They have a class. I'm looking at the classes right here.
They have a class for Cudas with no tires?
They do. They do.
Nice.
There's a footnote though. A class for Cudas with no tires, but if you drive a Ford, you have no class. I don't know what that means.
Wow.
Yikes.
Just kidding, Ford lovers. Just kidding.
Wow.
I'm a Chevy guy. What can I say? All right, so they have a class. It's called Box Stock Race and Modified. See Rule 4. Let me see if I have Rule 4. Rule 4 says box stock classes for the box stock class, finishing materials such as paint, putty, metal foil, or aftermarket decals are allowed. No other modifications. No other or added details of appendix except as provided below. All right, so that makes no sense what they're saying.
Which is part of why I don't go.
Yeah, it's saying box stock, race, and modified. So are they saying that race and modified are considered box stock? Because modified, I think, would be something that you would take and modify it.
Yeah.
Doesn't sound like that would be box stock.
No. It's very gray.
It is very gray.
It don't make no sense. It's like wiping
don't.
before you poop.
Thank you. I was just going to say that.
Jason, you and I apparently are a lot alike.
Apparently,
There's nothing wrong with wiping before you poop. You need a baseline measurement.
God.
Baseline.
All right.
So what he could do, he could put that model in shelf model, street legal.
Does he just need the tires?
I don't know.
I did it again.
Chad. Chad.
Please come back.
Oh, I did it again.
Oh, for the love of Pete.
What'd you do again? You pushed a button, didn't
Yes,
you?
I pushed the damn button. Now I don't know how to bring it back.
Hold on. I think I can bring it back.
There we go.
So I just read all the classes. There's 24 classes. So this is class number 24. Miscellaneous, what is left?
What?
That's what it says. Miscellaneous, what is left?
Yeah.
So
I might have a
does that mean there's
solution.
something they don't have a class for?
I might have a solution.
What? Yes,
These are
don't have
Johan
Johan tires. Clown tires only for $26. Okay, so what he's saying is he's got a Johan kit that doesn't have the tires.
What Frank's saying is he's got the tires right there.
Out of this kit, will this suffice?
He's asking this gentleman, will those wheels work?
Okay.
So we need this gentleman to answer whether those tires will work, and Frank can help him out.
Okay, Chet. You got to help us help you, buddy.
Yes, Frank.
Yes, Frank. Those
All
are
right,
words.
I got your address. They'll be in the mail tomorrow.
Look at that.
Look at
Saving
that.
lives.
That's it. See, Frank, that's why the chicks really dig Frank.
Right? That and that cape that he wears.
He's
Oh,
a
yeah.
problem
Here
solver.
I am to save the day.
That and he has a special ability to sit on things that he's not supposed to sit
Hey.
on.
Frank, you just made a young man smile. Ain't that nice?
It is.
It is.
That's
Yeah.
fantastic.
And when I bought this kit, I specifically put these in the baggie because the plastic is of the era that the tires could burn the glass. Always thinking ahead, that Frank Steffens.
Always. Lucas C's got to take off.
See you, Matt.
Yeah, Matt, let's talk about you popping on here next week because I'm not going to be. Well, no, next week we're not doing it.
Yeah, next week's Mother's Day. But let's get Matt in here, pick his brain. Maybe the week after?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll schedule him.
Yeah, let's do that. Week after.
Okay.
I might not be able for that
1933.
one because that's the day I come home from Amps Nats.
Oh, see, we're going to want you to talk about Amps Nats.
Well, then maybe I will be on here. I don't know.
All right.
Sure. Yeah. Matt, we weren't asking you. We were telling you that's what you're going to be on here.
You are scheduling it in, my friend. That
We
is
were
what
not giving you the opportunity to say no.
Frank, I got a new Revell, the 71442, and Revell has decided for some reason now to put the tires in with the body, and the tires end up from the outside of the body onto the roof, and the roof is all screwed up because the two of the tires melted into the roof.
Really?
Yeah,
I thought they changed the formulation so it shouldn't be doing that shit anymore.
Yeah, well, it did. I could probably do a little work and putty and all that and clean it out, but I have 3 of the kits, so it's not that big of a deal. But if you didn't, if you were a young man that had a paper route and went and bought your model kit, you know.
Yeah, that's messed up.
Yeah.
What's that poor kid do, you know?
Yeah, that sucks. Now that makes me want to check my Oldsmobile.
I
Make
haven't
sure
opened up the other 2. I just opened that one.
Yeah.
Here we
Not
go.
cool.
Tires are right there into the envelope. All right, not this envelope because I took the thing off. God damn it.
So, Model Car Madness from RI.
Rhode Island.
Rhode Island.
Larry.
He's looking for a hood for a 33 Ford coupe. I would try, like,
What kit?
he says it's anyone know where I could purchase a 1933 Ford coupe hood 124 scale. Didn't say what kit.
We need to know what kit, Larry.
Hey, Larry!
And make sure that it's 124th.
ZZ
I
Top.
believe
ZZ Top.
He's got all the
Sleepy
Z's.
Top.
the ZZ Top, that was 124th. I thought that was originally
It
Revell.
might have been 124th. Monogram.
Then it is 124th.
Maybe your
I
3D
don't
printer.
think I
that?
have that.
Yeah, I don't have one of those kits.
I don't
I
have
built
one of
that kit when I was a kid and I didn't like it.
Yeah.
I got a bunch of 32 stuff, but it's different.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Larry, that's going to be one of those things where you might have to take a 32 and turn it into a 33 and then up the scale.
Or you can have the same luck that I got. Again, talking about 120th scale. I bought that 120th scale AMX, the MPC, and that was my group build for Jason's street machine. I get it here, and it looks like somebody laid a hot iron on the glass. So I can't find that glass anywhere. So I'm probably going to have to buy another $80 kit to get that glass done.
All right, now for real. I'm sealing the envelope.
The envelope is sealed.
Hermetically sealed.
For real,
Hold on a second.
So will that
Lohan, 125th scale, CUDA wheel, CUDA tires.
Look at that.
And the great What was that? Karnak?
Yeah, who was that?
That was Johnny
Johnny
Carson.
Carson.
Johnny Carson. Yep. He dressed up with that big turban on
So
his
will that envelope be opened and somebody's going to say, and the winner is?
head. Chat, don't blow up his pillow too big. His head will pop. Chat said you were a gentleman and a scholar.
God. May the birds of paradise poop upon your head.
Jesus.
Let me make sure. All righty. That will be in the mail to Massachusetts in the morning, Chet. I got your address. I had somebody. Now, do you remember when I made the mod top decals?
Yes.
Part of the video was, don't bother me. I'm not printing you a set. I showed you how to make them yourself.
Yes.
If you want, I'll email you the files. You can print them out yourself.
Yes.
Months ago. Months ago. I get an email. Could you print me out a set of decals?
Did you not watch?
No.
So that's my new policy. If I have any idea you didn't watch the whole video, the answer's no.
Can't help you.
Can't help you, pal.
Well, in reality, Frank, the answer should be no anyway, because you
said
told people that you weren't doing that.
Right?
True. True.
Just because,
I like being a generous guy. It's just stuff like that annoys me.
yeah.
As it
Like,
should.
listen,
You're more likely to get something out of me by not asking.
Note to self: don't ask Frank for stuff.
Don't ask Frank for stuff. No,
Yeah.
if we're friends, that's a horse of a different feather. If we're friends, then you ask.
exactly.
Like if you're in the chat consistently, and I see your face, I see your name, then
Consistently.
you
And
get.
Chad,
You get
Chad definitely is one that supports. He shows
What he's
up.
saying is, you better be here next week, Chet.
Chet's a paisan.
Even though we won't be.
Right? Chet's gonna be like, I gotta check in. They're not even there. What the hell?
Chet lives in Massachusetts, so
He
it's
does.
a yes.
I'll try not to hold
It's
that.
a yes.
Chet lives in Massachusetts, all right.
He's a good support. He's a huge supporter. I know he shows up on the Thursday show. He shows up here. I see him all over the place, man. He's a good guy for showing up and supporting everybody.
Exactly. You're Joe Schmo. I never heard your name before, and you're like, "Hey, can you do the one thing that you said you weren't going to do for me?"
Okay.
And then,
Oh, look at. Okay, cool. Mike, you know what? That's a legitimate question, Mike. Let's put that up there.
What's that?
Frank, can you print me some decals and I'll send you the car to apply them for me as well for free of
yes,
course.
Mike. Yes, Mike, because I know you. I will.
Yeah, Mike is Mike is nice. We like Mike.
Hey, Mike, send me your address. I'll send you a set of decals. How's that sound? just to piss the person off that did it. Hopefully it gets back to them. So email me the address that's in the description at the address that's in all of my videos. Send me your address. You get I'll when I put this in the mail for Chad, I'll put the decals in the mail for you.
Bob's Hobby Shop in RC. What's up?
Hey, Bob or Ed. That's
What's
the guy I
up,
was telling
Bob?
you about that printed up these little wire guides for me.
Nice.
You guys check him out, man. He's got some really cool stuff over there. Ed's a really, really cool guy, man.
Boston Buds
BB.
coming in a bit late tonight, there, dude.
Yep, he's a little late. Ed printed me up. He actually gifted it to me. A shovel head. I believe it was a shovel head or a knucklehead Harley motor that is phenomenal. And again, these wire guides that he got me were really, I ordered from him, were really, really cool too. He also sells a lot of the Icky Sticky products, which I've had really good luck with. their twigs, their sanding papers, their glue. Good luck with that stuff too.
Cool.
Girl in the neighborhood where I hung out with, and when I was in high school, we called
That
her
was their nickname. That was their nickname, huh?
Shovel Face.
Oh, I thought you were going to
I
say.
didn't put that nickname.
I thought you were going to call her Icky Sticky.
I never. I was always of the if you don't mess with me, I'm not gonna mess with you. But if you mess with me, game on kind of people.
You're gonna get both barrels.
Did you call her shovel face because you were digging her?
I believe she was referred to as shovel face because it looked like she got hit in the face with a shovel.
That poor kid.
Like just a flattened out face.
Yeah.
Like she got dropped on her head.
Like a pug.
So like me, she was hot before electricity, right? Is that how it works?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
I used to tell my sister when we were growing up, my younger sister, I said, you fell out of the ugly tree and hit every branch on the way down.
Yep.
Frank used to reach around and smack his sister in the station wagon because he had to straighten her out.
Yeah, exactly.
It's true. I did. I did. But I never started with her. If she started with me, then she got what she got.
Yeah.
I never start with anybody. You have to start with me. And I'm gonna put up with a lot of crap. But when I go, it's gonna be bad.
Frank, I told you, I watched that video and there was tears coming down my face. Because I grew up in a family with 5 kids, so I knew exactly what you were saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was that in the way you looked at the camera. Don't judge.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Funny stuff.
A 1974 Ford Galaxy 500 station wagon. It would take me well over a second to get across that back seat to hit my sister. And then when the car got stolen, my aunt gave my parents a 1980 Subaru station wagon where it was so tight in that back seat. In order to crack my sister, all I had to do was lift up my elbow like that. Boom! I'd hit her right in the chin. Boom!
His attack time got like reduced by minutes.
Yeah.
I get there in a hurry now.
And she could, whatever, doesn't matter what she did. My mother heard everything she did. The minute I did anything back, Frank, leave her alone.
Yeah. Yeah, always. That's always the way.
That was my sister too.
Well, like I said to the guys last week, that I had that 390 that I had my first Chevelle had the blown small block in it, and I sold it, and I bought a Toyota 4x4 pickup. So I went from a vehicle I could pass 4 cars in 4 seconds to a vehicle I couldn't pass 4 cars in 4 days. That Toyota truck was nice, but it moved like a pack of wild guppies.
V-twin. All right, thanks, Ed. It was the V-twin that he got me. That thing is really, really cool. But I've been, Ed, I just started using, this first time I used the wire looms. I'm digging those things, man. They're awesome. I love them. It even says, because they're the guides, the Excel type guides, it even says Excel on them. You got to look really close to see it, but it's there. But he sells that Outlaw Paints too, that stuff from Australia.
Yeah.
Can you put a link up so people can see where that guy is?
I know it's I'm sure we can, but I have no idea how to do it.
Okay.
I've got to work on some of this.
Sorry, Ed.
Sorry, yeah, but
And I tried for you, brother. I gave it a shot.
It's Bob's Hobby Shop in RC. But check him out, man. He's got a lot of cool stuff over there.
Is it an eBay store or is it a website?
The website.
Nice.
Well, so you got to remember, we're talking about the guy that said he was going to make us a new intro for this thing 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, I know. I've been working. Well, I don't know if I told you guys, but I went to Jeep Beach last weekend.
Yeah.
When I got back Monday, I I go to my job site, which is 25 minutes from the house.
Yeah.
I sit there, and my immediate supervisor was like, "You're not going to like this." I'm like, "What?" He's, "I need you to get in the truck." I'm like, "Okay." An hour and a half later, we got to my new job site. 2 hours, almost 2 hours from my house. Now in the morning, it's only about an hour and a half because there's no traffic. But in the afternoon, it's a 2 hour drive to get home.
Is that where you're driving that John Deere tractor thing?
Yes. When I was driving that big tractor.
What in the world are you doing with that?
Disking up the ground because we don't have the plans yet, so we don't have any stakes or anything. We got the plans, but we don't have anything to go by yet. So they needed to go out there, and we're basically breaking the ground up instead of peeling the grass off.
Yeah.
If we disc it in, then we can still use the materials there to build house pads and that sort of stuff. So,
Gotcha.
but yeah, I love running that tractor. But you want to talk about monotonous? It's 340 acres, and I drive all the way around that, and then drive all the way around again, drive all the way around again.
Oh, so you're like a NASCAR driver.
Yeah, except there's right-hand turns.
Except for really, really slow.
Yeah. Here's the question though: is Kenny Chesney once says, "Does she think your tractor's sexy?"
That's exactly the picture I posted up. I said, "What do y'all think? Is the tractor sexy?"
Yeah. And my answer was no.
See, you just don't know. You don't. That big old tractor is sexy.
It's the wrong color.
Wrong color.
Wrong color.
All right, what's wrong with John Deere green?
It's like a Harley Davidson. Anything you buy for it is like $1 million.
Oh,
yeah. There is that.
Yeah, you don't have to tell me I sell tractor parts all day long.
Not to mention, what's that?
I sell tractor parts all day long.
I know you do. Do you sell John Deere tractor parts?
We do.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
He said, "I'm sorry."
Site prep. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing, bud. Site prep.
Yeah, well, some days it's like being catheterized with a garden hose. What are you going to do?
And it ain't one of those cheap Walmart garden hoses either. It's one of those big fat
together in his head.
Obashan garden hoses.
You'd be surprised. It's not that bad.
Yeah.
Not that bad.
I actually just found something I've been looking for years.
Wire?
This is 0.30 millimeter silk wire. So it has a solid metallic copper core. And then the outer insulation on it is like a silk fabric. And what it's good for is Model T spark plug wires.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it was his face. Doug White from Model Car Muse was looking for something like this. And I reached out to him and I said, "There's this stuff. I have it. I just found it.
Nice.
So I gotta reach out to him."
Who's his face?
Doug White from Model Car Muse.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I was just kind of sort of picking on you, but that's okay.
Yeah. Doug's a very nice guy. And then
Very nice guy.
Absolutely incredible. His wife is super nice. His son is super nice. Just great people. Great people.
I always get nervous when I'm talking to Doug because I'm a dirtbag, and you could tell like he's class. He's got class.
He's a classy guy.
He's definitely not a dirtbag like me.
No, he is not.
So I have to be really, really careful with the things that I say. You know, like I don't want the guy to know that I'm a criminal.
Yeah. Okay, so it's past time to go.
It is.
But there's one question we're going to answer before we go because he just popped in here. I haven't seen his name since, and he's got a Jeep.
Oh, yes, I see him.
Yeah, so let's put it up there.
You guys are always building.
Okay, do you ever find yourselves in a building funk? And if so, any tips for getting out of it? Yes, but I'll let everybody else go first.
Build outside your comfort zone.
God damn it, Justin.
Go to a show.
Yeah. I'm going to piggyback with Justin. Yeah, build something outside of your comfort zone. Even if you build cars, build a egg plane or build a 172nd tank or build a Gundam. I think Gundams are like the new way to go as far as getting out of your wheelhouse because you could buy those pretty much ready to go and not have to buy anything other than what you already have to put them together. And and it's something different, something new.
Yeah.
Well, I have a long answer for this, and there's multiple questions to go with it. If you're in a building funk, here's the questions I have. If you have a dedicated hobby room, such as me, how many unbuilt models are in that model room? Second, when you're in a building funk, how many YouTube videos or Facebook posts do you look at involving whatever subject you build at? Because if you have too many unbuilt kits, it puts your funk even deeper because you get more confused because you don't know what to build and you get frustrated. If you watch too many videos of what people build, you become like that guy that sees a shiny thing. Oh, look over there. Oh, look over there. Oh, a 56 Chevy. Oh, a 32 Ford. Oh, wait, a Ford pickup. And you want to build them all, and that makes your funk worse. So what I do as a model car builder, I build a curbside kit. I will take a Tamiya, an Oshima, something that's curbside that you just have to put a nice paint job on and paint the interior and put it together. No engine involved, none of that stuff. That will get you out of funk if you're a car builder. But then again, like Jason and Justin said, in Mike, build outside your comfort zone to try something new to get the creative juices flowing again.
Mm-hmm.
But me, I have too many kits in my room, and I tell this to Jason all the time we talk on the phone. I'm sitting here staring at my kits. I want to build them all, so I don't know what to build. I am that little kid that has too many toys, so many, he doesn't know what he wants to play with. So there's a couple things you can do.
I can help you with that. I can help you get rid of a lot of those kits. I really could. I could replace these empty boxes with kits. With stuff.
Well, tell me if you need what kit you need, and if I have it, you can have it. I give Jason kits all the time. He's looking for something. I always give him to him.
And also keep something in mind, David. We're not always building. I get into funks, and like I'll be on cloud 9 from NNL East for at least the next several months, until hopefully the next show can get me through. If you're having a funk, then take a night off and have yourself a YouTube watch party where
sometimes you don't force
a playlist. Make yourself a playlist of shows you want to watch and be selective. Just, don't feel obligated. Well, I got to check this out. I got to check this out. I got to do this, that.
Yeah.
And just watch, and you'll be surprised. You catch some motivation and you catch some inspiration, and you'll want to get back down there. Just wait it out, because this isn't really like, a lot of people come in and out of the hobby, but they don't. I guess it would have to be something traumatic to keep you out for good, or something really special replaces it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would say don't force yourself to sit and build something, because you won't enjoy it, and you're gonna screw it up, and then you'll be in even a bigger funk.
Right.
Yeah.
I had 3 or 4 commission builds I did in a row, and it was for people that I know that asked, and I didn't have the heart to tell them no. And I did them, and I did not enjoy them. And it put me in a bad funk because I wasn't enjoying the hobby. I wasn't building something that I would normally build. And for like a year, I was dragging my feet on building anything. And it took a while for me to get out of that. So I understand. It happens. It happens.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes that's just what it takes, just some time off.
Yeah.
Leaving it alone and walking away. What's that?
Peter Cetera.
Peter.
Everybody needs a little time away.
Yeah.
There you go. Absence makes the heart grow fond. That's where I was.
Who sings that?
Peter. Not me.
Let's keep it that way.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that.
Shut your filthy mouth.
So, well, from all the answers that he just got from 5 different people, there's 5 different answers. I think a lot of it just depends on the individual.
Yeah,
it does.
It's like the painting thing, that we all have our ways that we do it, and because it works for me doesn't mean it works for you. But at least he got five answers from 5 guys that are builders, and hopefully it gives them direction to go in.
If you put that use that term loosely when it comes to me, I'm more of a slap it together, not really a builder, more of a slap it together and throw some glue on a guy. But
yeah,
that's the old slap and tickle.
So from now on, we call you Slappy.
That's it.
Just so you know, I'm a big faker, because what I did was, when Jason wasn't looking, I hired the we from the Blue Ox channel to come build all my models. So I
Good.
just sit here and look like I'm doing it.
Good. Good. Glad they're out of here. Because one steals the parts and the other one shits over here in the corner.
There's nothing fun about that.
No, there's nothing fun about that.
Nothing,
All right,
nothing
guys.
like shitty employees and employee theft, right?
Exactly. Although he does show up well dressed every day.
Yeah,
He does
well,
wear a tuxedo every day. So
Yeah.
Well, guys, like Jason said, it is getting to be that time. In fact, we're about almost 15 minutes over. So let's go ahead and do our closings. Tim, you want to go first?
Yeah, well, thank you all for tuning in. If you want to see any of my builds, it is Tim's Model Shop on Instagram. I would tell you what my thing is on Pinterest, but I don't even know how to figure out my login on there. I haven't figured it out yet. But all I do on Pinterest, I just post pictures that I find. Pictures from model shows, pictures of build cars from Facebook, model kit boxes, just stuff like that.
But they are very good inspiration.
Yes, they are. Yeah.
And it's T Ryan 67.
Okay, on Pinterest.
On Pinterest.
Okay. Yeah.
And I know that because I started a Pinterest after last week.
Okay. Yeah, after I got yelled at because I didn't tell nobody.
Exactly.
Yeah. So anyway, thank you all for listening. Make sure you check out the Model Insanity podcast. Great group of guys. They always have great discussions. Even if you're not a military builder, will learn some stuff from those guys. If not, you'll at least laugh about a dozen times throughout it because they're pretty funny. And make sure you check out the Scale Model Car podcast. I have 3 really good friends on there that do an outstanding job. And check out the Scale Model Outlaw, Frank's Model Works, Blue Ox Model Shop, and Ryan. I apologize. I don't know what yours is.
It's Ryan's Random Model Works.
Okay, I'm going to go subscribe to that as we speak.
That's it.
I apologize.
All I got to say is goodbye at this point.
Right. He didn't get all the plugs in there, didn't he?
Nice. I like it.
I like to support my friends. What can I say?
Absolutely, absolutely. We're here.
Well, anyway, thank you all for watching. Have a good week, and we'll see you all in 2 weeks.
2 weeks, yes, guys.
And
Take Mother's Day off.
Before we rock out, next weekend, Mother's Day weekend, Friday, Saturday, my club, the MFCA, Miniature Figure Collectors of America Club, is having our annual show. It is a figure club, but we do have other stuff in there. They like to call it ordnance in the figure world. Tanks, aircraft cars. So if you guys are in the Philadelphia, New Jersey area, come on by. It's in Feasterville.
Absolutely. Frankie, you got anything you want to plug?
No, surprisingly not. I think Tim took care of it all.
Tim took care of it all, didn't he?
Make sure you check out Billboards Builds, Chet's channel, Model Car Madness from Rhode Island, Larry's channel, and Art of Rake. New channels that are out there, channels that have been around for a little while. Let's try to pump them up and get them some momentum.
Yes.
Absolutely. Anybody that you see in the chat that you're not sub to and they got a channel, please go check them out, man. This community supports one another and each other, and that's how we grow and get bigger and learn and do different things. So absolutely.
I got one more thing. Where it is Mother's Day, if your mother is still alive and with you, make sure you give her a big hug, buy her some flowers, and tell her you love her, and do anything she wants you to do that day. The mother is the hardest job in the world. They make tons and tons of sacrifices so that we all can grow up and be modeling idiots like we are. So if your mother is still alive, because trust me, when they're gone, they don't come back, and you will miss them. So where it is Mother's Day, make sure you give your mother a big hug and let her know how much you love her.
Amen. Amen.
Exactly.
Jason?
Bye.
Bye.
That's all I got.
Take care. Brush your hair.
Exactly.
Brush your hair.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right, gentlemen. It's been emotional as always.
It has.
That's it.
All right.
All right, guys. I'm going to echo what Jason said. The only one we left out that didn't get mentioned was our Thursday show at 8 p.m. You skipped that one, Tim, but we'll see you next time. But absolutely, the Insanity Model Podcast, the Scale Model Car Podcast, and then, of course, the AMC Live on Thursday nights. Y'all go check all that stuff out. And as always, have a good week. Be safe, and we'll look forward to seeing. Reminder, we're not going to be here next Sunday doing Mother's Day. So the Sunday afterwards. And as of right now, it looks like we will have Matt, aka Lucas C, as a guest when we return in 2 weeks. Y'all be good at it. There's that big old thumbs up. Be kind to each other and keep on modeling. See ya.
See you.
Right.